Alright, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you pretty much the most basic BMX trick there is, and that is going to be dropping into a bowl. So obviously to be able to do this, you're going to have like a local skate park or DIY spot or something like that to be able to find a quarter or something like that. The only skill that dropping in is going to require for you is just being able to stand up on your bike and being able to ride and keep your pedals level and keep your balance. That's pretty much all you're going to need to know how to do. Okay, so the first step of learning how to do a drop-in on a quarter is going and doing like little ramps, like moving up to that, just to make sure you're actually comfortable with it. And you're definitely going to want to drop it on the smallest quarter you can find first. You're not going to want to go to a skate park, see a 10-foot quarter and be like, okay, that's what I'm going to learn to drop in on. Not a good idea. I personally learned on this quarter right here, actually. I just rolled in right there. It's about 3.5 foot, 4 foot quarter, something like that, and that was perfect. First step you're going to do is you're going to want to find either a bank or something like that, something like kind of steeply inclined. The steeper the better. That way you have something that you can like get the sensation of like going forward, and then knowing how to like balance yourself out once you go in and then once you come out of it. So like whenever you're going down it like a quarter, you don't want to be so far forward that you're just going to shoot over the bars whenever you get to the flat bottom. So that's what going down a bank will help you with. Most ideal quarter size to drop in on is maybe 3 to 5 feet. Anywhere right around there is probably the most ideal. It's going to be a lot less risky. The reason I say that is one of the easiest ways to roll in to a quarter is literally just rolling straight into it. That's the way I learned it. That's the way I've taught countless people how to do it, just for their like first couple times to get comfortable with it. Is you're literally just going to start rolling towards the quarter, put your feet flat, make sure they're flat, and then you're just going to roll over it. The thing you have to watch out for this is it really depends on your bike if you're able to do this or not. So like a lot of like less expensive bikes are going to have a lot bigger sprockets. You're going to have to watch out, because if you do have a bigger sprocket, you might not be able to do this because it may hit on the coping as you're dropping in. But if you bought a bike with like say a 25 or 28 tooth sprocket, like you should be good on pretty much almost any quarter around that range, just because your tires are going to stop you before you get to your sprocket in case that. So once you're doing that, I'd go at a medium to slow speed. Like you're not going to want to go so slow that you're barely going forward and your front tires are going to like go in and then start wanting to turn because you're not going fast enough. I'd say maybe take a crank at it, level out, and then just go in. It might be a little scary at first, but I guarantee you, like, just keep your front tire straight, your body centered over your bike, and you should be good. I'll give you a quick example of what that'll look like. One other thing I kind of forgot to mention, whenever you're rolling in and your front end starts going down, you're going to want to keep your body kind of like right in the same position it is. Your arms are going to go out and your knees are going to compress a little bit. You can see that whenever I did that drop in. Pulling up decent speed, keep your pedals flat, rolling, compress your knees. Okay, so if you don't have a bike that you can roll straight in on because the sprocket's too big or something else, or you don't have a quarter that you can just roll in straight because it's either too steep or there's something else wrong with it, you can start learning how to go in somewhat like you'll go alongside the quarter and then you'll turn into it and drop in that way. This one's a lot more common and will lead to the third step of dropping in, which is like hopping and going into the quarter, just because it's a lot more similar to that. So what you're going to need to do for that is, obviously I'd want you to be comfortable doing just the normal roll-in first. That'll calm a lot of your nerves and it'll get a lot of the like stuff in your head like that you're a little scared of out. So what you're going to want to do is find that same flat quarter and make sure it's not a slippery quarter, because like especially at first, like the balance is going to be a little weird for you and you're not going to know exactly where your body needs to be. So the more sticky and like grippy the quarter is going to be, the better. You'll just start rolling parallel to it and then just slowly start turning in, and then once your front tire goes over, you're going to want to kind of lean forward and then roll into it. And you're not going to want to hop or anything, just kind of turn into it, take a very, very mellow, lean angle into it. I'll show you what that looks like real quick too. All right, so as you can see, I'm going really slow. I took maybe a crank, rolling next to it, and then just start turning, and it'll drop me in. Okay, I don't know if you can see me, but one thing you're gonna wanna make sure of is whenever you're riding next to the quarter, you wanna put maybe 4 inches of space between the coping and when your tire is running. Just because if you're right on the coping and you start trying to turn, your tire's just gonna slide on the coping and you're probably gonna either fall into the bowl or fall next to it, and it's not gonna end too well. So make sure you have a couple inches in between your tire and the coping before you start turning. My tire's a couple inches back, start turning, drop it. Okay, cool. So, and then once you get it down on your more dominant side, like you'll obviously know like which side you're gonna want to do it on. Like just kind of roll next to the quarter and see which one would seem like it'd be more comfortable for you and go with that one. Once you get down that one side, I definitely stick to that for a while before you start hopping into it. Like I did that for probably a while before I started actually doing like big hops into quarters and stuff like that. Just because that's pretty much like the only thing you're really gonna need to do maybe. All right, so I guess there would be one other step before you start going into like hopping into it, is kind of like manualing into it. So like what that is like you'll start turning and then you'll pick up your tire so it won't land on the downslope of the quarter until your back tire drops into the quarter too. So I'll show you what that looks like. That could be kind of confusing. All right, so obviously for that one, you're gonna wanna go a little bit faster. It'll just make it a lot more comfortable. But other than that, as far as dropping in, like the most like beginner way is, that's pretty much it. That manual step is probably the last one you're gonna wanna do. And then once you start wanting to drop in like on the other side, like I only dropped in like leaning to my left for the longest time. And then I actually dropped in on this quarter, like right next to me, going the other way a little bit. It's pretty much the same thing. If you're nervous at all, just kind of go straight at it and then start like at turning a little more and a little more and a little more. And it'll just get you comfortable leaning that way and going into the bowl. There's really not too much to it. You just gotta do it that first time to get all the bad nerves out of your head. And once you start wanting to hop into it, that's pretty much up to you. Like, you know, a lot of people do it differently. Pretty much it'll be the exact same thing as the manual, except you'll pull up and then just go into it. Like you'll have to lean forward and it'll be a full bunny hop in. So I don't know, there's not too much to that. Like pretty much just hop and lean forward into it. I wouldn't recommend trying that until you're 100% comfortable with it. You don't want to overshoot it or undershoot it in case, or just go to the flat. So that's up to you. You'll figure it out once you get to that step. But for whenever you're first learning it, the 3 steps I'd recommend doing it in are drop straight in, like roll straight into the bowl if you can. Make sure you keep your pedals flat and your body centered over your bike. Don't lean too far forward, don't lean super far back. Next one is going to be the kind of like lean/turn into the bowl. So for that, just make sure your peg isn't too close to the coping. Don't do a really sudden turn. It's a very gradual turn into the quarter. And then after you have that one down, go ahead and try the manual drop in. It's the exact same thing as the like roll into it, the like kind of lean into it, but just make sure you pop your back tire up just a little bit. Like it's definitely better to not lift your tire up enough, because the only thing that's going to happen is your front end's going to kind of land down a little bit harder than normal. But that's a lot better than pulling up super hard, rolling in, looping out, and going under your back. Like that's going to hurt a lot. So just do little pull-ups to get in there, and then like you'll get the feel for it and exactly how you need to do it for every quarter that you drop in on. So that's about it for dropping in. Pretty much the only thing that you need to know how to do is just go for it. You don't really need any like skills or anything before you try this. It's pretty much all just a commitment thing. Just as long as you can keep your pedals flat and keep your balance, you can do this for sure. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Go ahead and like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any other videos or how-tos you want me to do, just go ahead and let me know down in the comments. I try to respond to pretty much every comment y'all put down there, so I'll try to get back to you as soon as you can. And that's it for this time. Thanks. Okay, and real quick, I'll do a couple of different drop-ins on different quarters just so you can see different examples on different stuff. Those down, you can start messing with other stuff like tooth cheek drop-ins and stuff like that.